Hello, everybody. It's 2 p.m. here on a Monday afternoon, and I feel like I haven't put my mug on camera forever, and it's been at least since the Kohberger plea hearing. That was the last time I did this, and I thought I can't just allow this equipment to collect dust. It was too expensive to just let it sit around and not continue with whatever stupid little project I had in my head. So I've decided to come on this afternoon and just say some stuff. I've obviously, I'm such a loudmouth generally that then you put me in front of a camera and I just seize up. But I always have so much to say, and I'm actually pretty controversial. But I probably have to tame that in a little bit. So what would I like to say? I'm still following the Kohberger case, just letting it. I mean, it's still bubbling away, isn't it? We're just watching the fallout of the plea and the media circus that's happened, that's ensued with the book. I haven't read the book. I won't be reading the book. I'm just listening to all the podcasters out there, and they're doing that for me, and I'm very thankful because I don't think I could do it. I don't know what that is. So you don't use your equipment for a while and it just starts saying all sorts of weird things to you. So I'm not reading the book. And like I said, thank you to everybody who is doing that so I don't have to. I did watch the Amazon Prime 4-part series. And, well, in the backdrop of the Jeff Bezos nuptials, which, can only be described as quite fake, pure entertainment, it's sort of sad that we swapped out Judge Hitler for a Jeff Bezos product. That's all I'll say about that. He's not attracted to the most organic of things, is he? Yeah, so there's that. I'm disappointed in where this has all gone. Nothing will ever replace a trial. Hopefully we'll be getting a lot of discovery now that Judge Hitler lifted the gag order, and that will hopefully help everybody who is interested in the case and even provide closure for the families. So there's that. And I will be staying up pretty late to watch the sentencing come the 23rd, which is, if that's Wednesday morning for you guys in America, that's going to be like 11 p.m. for me. So I should be able to pull that off without feeling like I've been hit by a train the next day. What else do I want to talk about? Well, I've already voiced my interest in the Luigi Mangione case, and straight after that I was surfing YouTube and I came across an interview between Tucker Carlson and Walter Kirn, and he's a novelist, and I don't have any strong feelings about Tucker Carlson. I quite like him. I know that the more highbrow amongst us don't like him, and I wasn't a fan of him when he was, cheering the neocons on to go to war in Iraq back in the day. But, we can all turn a corner. And I quite like Tucker Carlson. He looks like the sort of person you'd want to have a beer with. And he obviously gets some really good people on his show. And Walter Kirn was one of those. And Mr. Kirn just pointed out how the whole Luigi Mangione case seems quite confected and quite artificial and made for social media. And I think there's an element of that with Kohberger as well. That's the cynic in me, but I do feel that absolutely. Just the proof is literally in the pudding. and what we're all going through now. But with Luigi Mangione, I was picking up what they were putting down in their conversation, but at the end of it all, the public is still being asked to grapple with the question of, is it okay to ever execute someone? Is that ever okay? And well, as an Australian, I've said before, we don't have the death penalty here. But in America, you obviously condone it. You obviously condone it from the state. So you sort of, the door is cracked open there. You know what I mean? And you kind of got to be careful how you go into these arguments, because you don't want to look like you're saying, oh, murder's fine. Murder isn't fine. But like something that happened to Mr. Brian Thompson by allegedly Mr. Luigi Mangione, you just have to look at the reaction from the general populace to realise that there's something wrong there with that particular entity, with the insurance CEO. And so without, making an argument for murder, I'd like to use the court's words just to make my point. So I remember listening to Judge Hippler addressing Brian Kohberger, and he asked or posited of Brian Kohberger that he knowingly, with forethought and premeditation, took the lives of those 4 human beings. And I think those exact words can be, put towards someone like Brian Thompson when he knowingly, with forethought and premeditation, climbed the hierarchical structures of a corporate entity that everybody knows is immoral. So that's a very sanitized way of putting my opinion across the whole Luigi Mangione thing. It does seem artificial. It does seem like a little bit fake. If you are going to be following the Luigi Mangione case, I really recommend that you watch the Tucker Carlson Walter Kirn interview. It was fantastic. And don't listen to the haters of Tucker Carlson. It was very good. It was very well done. So there's that. And what else do I want to say? I know you're all reading books at the moment, aren't you? You're all reading that James Patterson book, and I felt very left out. So I bought myself a book too. And the book I bought myself, sort of along the same lines, but it's actually called Murderland, and it's by Fraser. And she's basically giving she's giving stats. She's trying to draw a link between heavy industry, things like lead poisoning, arsenic poisoning, serious industrialization in I think it's the northwest of America, because that seems to be where all the most notorious serial killers have come from. So far, she's up to Ted Bundy. That seems to be the first person she's focusing on. And it is interesting. I'm just in the first chapter. But, sometimes it's probably good to understand why people like this pop up. If we can understand why they're popping up and what might be triggering their brains to be like that, we could possibly save families, ourselves, a lot of heartache. So once I've finished that book, I'll probably give a good review. That's Murderland by Fraser. So yes, I think that's all I want to say. I've got the sentencing in a couple of days. I'll try and get back on here for then. But other than that, I hope you all have a great rest of your day, no matter what you're doing. It was really good to touch base again, and I'll see you next time. Bye.